Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Smart City CTalk Human-Oriented ITS Development Session will begin in 5 minutes. Please take your seat and kindly turn off your cell phone or switch it to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Smart City CTalk Human-Oriented ITS Development Session will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seat and kindly turn off your cell phone or switch it to silent mode. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and online viewers from around the world, welcome and thank you for joining the 2023 Smart CTC Talk Human-Oriented ITS Development Session. My name is Maggie Wu, and I will be the MC for today. Every year, CTalk serves as a platform for practitioners and CT representatives to share their values and visions. After waves of challenges brought by the COVID-19, thanks to the joint efforts of the government and the people, cities have risen from darkness, learned to navigate the post-pandemic era, and develop technologies and models that are more in line with the new normal. This year, we are very glad and also honored to invite overseas experts to be here with us in Taipei to share their smart city experience in the field of ITS development through a physical event. At the same time, experts from home and abroad will also engage with one another to share their opinions and insights and on the topics on how to solve transportation problems through advanced transportation and information technology, enhance the safety and efficiency of urban transportation, and to build a more human-oriented and sustainable environment. And now to kick off, I'd like to invite Deputy Commissioner of Department of Transportation of Taipei City Government, Deputy Commissioner Rongming Chen, to come up to the stage and give us the opening remarks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Deputy Commissioner Chen.
Good morning, Professor Marupiti, Mr. Mike, and Dr. Zhang, and Ms. Lin, as well as all the distinguished guests presented here today. It's great for me to welcome on behalf of the Department of Transportation and the Taipei City Government to this summit, where we will talk about the city efforts and the plans for the using in those themes of smart and human-oriented transportation. Build a livable and a sustainable city is a long-term developed for every city in the world. With the rapid advancement of technology, and we have the better ways to improve our lives and the service for people. In addition to create a sustainable transportation economy, and we hope to provide a safe and user-friendly transportation service in the future in order to meet needs of the different communities. We will always try out and using new IT and AIoT in development of Taipei Smart City, not only to provide better transportation option, but also to attract and retain a large workforce to create smart and safe cities. We provide people with more accurate and up-to-date traffic information and using big data analysis to improve traffic service and reduce traffic accidents. Sincerely, we hope that by discussions and exchange our experience to date, we will be able to learn from one another and make city better to live in the future. Later, I will go into more detail on Taipei Smart City's current state of development and its future plans. Once more, welcome to Taipei. We would thrilled to have you here, and welcome you have the fantastic time exploring everything in this city. Enjoy your stay to the fullest, and I wish this meeting every success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner Chen, for the very inspiring and warm remarks. And now Deputy Commissioner Chen will be giving us a presentation and share with us the development and outlook of human-oriented ITS in Taipei City. And now with a round of warm applause, please join me in welcoming Deputy Commissioner Chen.
Okay, well, I will present the human-oriented ITS development. That's for vision in Taipei City for the transportation. It's safety, human-oriented, green energy, and intelligent development. Okay. The green transportations, the share rate in Taipei now is 60%. We hope to 2030 can to update up to 70%. And that's our pool strategy for the private mode, and that's our for the pool strategy for the green transportation. And that is we made the car share model from the crude green transportation mode. Okay, I will tell you this is the outlines for topic for you. And in the AIT, we have the intelligence traffic signal and accident detector and the friendly app service. In the Taipei City, we all intersections have the signal, traffic signal, all linkage in the traffic control center. But we hope to the operation is efficient, can't. So we do the intelligence traffic signal for dynamic signal control and the traffic response signal control. The mayor asked DOT 20 to 30, 20 to 23, and to 2025, expand to 29 artificial road, include 254 intersection to install this system. And we have the accident the detection. Since 20 and 21 is 41 AI accident detector installed. You can help to us in the TC earliest to detect the accident or the event, traffic event occurred. And we can, the traffic control center can to take notice the policeman to treat. And it's the friendly service APP for the disability or the brand and the elder person. You can take the phone traveled in Taipei APP, and you can take set detect you here. So if you cross the passenger, and he tell you what time, how time remain the time you to cross. If you can go to the train, and he will adapt more the time, the green time for you. And it is a tool help to take a bus. You can set same the fun travel in Taipei APP, and this the APP can tell you how you can set how bus line the number for you, and you set and send through the APP and can take your bus line to the near bus driver, and if the driver can stop here, because here is a GPS position for you. And then with the ITS transportation forward, we have the parking, smart parking. Smart parking, we have the two sides for you off road, parking road. We have the service for 3.8. And we have the set the sidewalk parking. And that's if you would pay this here is cash use cashier. This here is use non-cashier. It's multiple payment. We hope to in the next other 2 years we can up to 75% for non-cashier payment. So, and the Taipei on e-bus system to request for the people, passenger. We have to some is so, and we have the in Taipei have the 3,400 the bus stop. We can install this system. All the 81% also. But all the bus stop you can use all the QR code in the stop. And then the e-bus, we push the up to the 20 and 30 can all the buses to use e-bus and the service. And all the in the ADAS for Taipei City, we want all the bus can install the ADAS in 20 and 25. Okay, that's a U-bike. Do you try the U-bike in Taipei? In Taipei, the 20 and 09 start to set U-bike General 1. And the 2 last year, we changed to U-bike Generation 2. And the Mayor John told us can increase the vehicle parking and the parking station. And within the first 3 minutes, free charge. So human writing, and we have the improved neighbor line. It's before and after service. For the bus service, we extend DRT. For the deep floor bus, if you have the 20 passenger to reserved, we can operation. And the bus operations, you can reserve. If it's a normal ride, if you are reserved, we can service stopped for you. Okay. We have reductions with the AI, the traffic violation. It's good effects. So I hope that it's ITS to promote its harmony, and we hope that it's for the communication up to 4G to 5G. And with the cooperation, all the coordinations in the every sector for the private, public, school, and enterprise. Okay, thank you for your listen.
Thank you very much, Deputy Commissioner Chen, for the remarkable presentation. Please be seated. And also, thank you very much for walking us through some of the very innovative technologies and also the tools of the transportation in Taipei. In the CTalk this year, we are honored to be joined by a great many local and international experts in the field of ITS as well as smart mobility to share their smart city strategies and experience as well as their future visions of human-oriented ITS. And moving on for the second keynote speech, we are honored to have President of ITS Thailand, Mr. Sorawik Narupiti, to be our speaker. Mr. Sorawik Narupiti currently serves as the Department of Civil Engineering of Chulalongkorn University. His research interests lies in intelligent transport system, smart mobility, and transport policy and strategies. Today, we are very honored to have him with us in person. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Sorawik Narupiti.
Thank you very much. I'm quite honored to be here and to talk in this session. My talk is about human-oriented ITS development. I will give you some examples of what's going on in Thailand. Most of my slides and pictures will come from Bangkok. And I think we share the same pain points everywhere in the cities, especially big cities like Bangkok and other cities in Thailand as well. And we have not so good public transportation. And in fact, when you wait for a bus, for example, you have to wait for a long time and with not a good condition. You can see from the picture that even rain or a lot of people are waiting for the bus. And for the drivers who drive on the road, of course, we have problems. We share the same problems with the traffic jam. And it is famous for Bangkok, very high traffic jam. And we are also among top ranks of traffic accidents around the world. So this is something that we need to fix. And not only those, shared problems that we see around the world, we also have problems with illegal and violations. For instance, while we travel, we still see some people like motorcyclists, they drive in the opposite direction illegally. And you see cars that drive crossing the solid lines, illegally. And it's quite difficult for policemen, enforcers to do the job. And apart from the problems we have vision as well in the city. For example, in Bangkok, we have vision to make our transportation in city more sustainable and more environmentally friendly. So I think this is something that we share in many, many cities around the world. We gonna use ITS to solve this problem or bring us to reach the vision. Of course, we have traditional ITS that we install lots of sensors and things onto our infrastructure. This is good though, this is fundamental that we need to do. For instance, we can put CCTVs, we can put sensors, and we can inform our motorists through variable message signs. And we enhance our operators' capability through smart and better operation centers. As you can see on the bottom here is the traffic control center by police and motorway, and we want to upgrade our tolling systems. So these are traditional ITS that we are doing. I think everywhere we are doing this. This is good and it's a must to do. But we need to think of human element in transportation system as well. The traveler, the drivers, and even people who work in ITS systems. We need to help them through our using ITS. For instance, for the drivers, we want to help them cope with the traffic that they see every day, where we can use traffic information and incident information in real time to help them get on their journey, make a wise decision on the route that they want to use, the mode of transportation, the destination, or even thinking about to go or not to go in that traffic condition. So, and for transit passengers, we need to help them a lot though. We want to provide convenience and efficient movement for those transit passengers. From this picture, for example, everyone has to pay for the fare. And it's quite difficult sometimes, it's quite crowded, you have to get into long queue, so efficiency-wise, it's not so good. So we can help them to have this kind of smart card or connection for the fare payment. I've seen good example here in Taiwan that you have a good smart card that you can use public transportation quite conveniently. Unfortunately, in Thailand, we don't have it yet. And physically, we need a good connection. We want to make seamless connection between modes. Normally, people take more than one mode when they travel by public transportation. Imagine that we have elevated urban rail transit. You come down from the stair, and now you have to connect with other modes to go to your destination. And at the moment, it's not that convenient to do so. And you can see still something like this, in the peak hour in the morning and in afternoon. A lot of people wait for public vans. And not only, we try to manage the demand, but also we need to manage our service so that they can accommodate to meet the demand. And for public transportation, like taxi, for example, normally we go by application or is taximeters, but we have also we have problems that the taxis refused you to bring you to your destination, or even try to bargain for the fare. So this, unfortunately, it happens. So we need to try to get rid of this one. And something easy that we can do, for example, if some people wait for a bus, instead of wait, we can put some bus arrival time information for them so that they can feel relief and wait for the bus with confidence. So I think these are deployed in many cities, but not yet in all cities though. Like this example is in Bangkok, but in other cities in Thailand, we don't have it yet. And we can provide new vehicles for the better service. Instead of traditional vehicles on the left, we can provide high quality of service using electric bus to the right. So this is something that we can add some technologies to help people moving conveniently and efficiently. Now, I'd like to mention about how to treat people disobey the law. You see the sign, the right turn prohibition, but we still see some people do so. So if we try to use manpower to do, like policemen, it will be a great deal for them to do, and we need a big group of manpower to do so. So we can use technologies like CCTV, turn into CCTV AI, that we can make a good enforcement, in terms of red light, running, or speeding, or even motorcyclists don't wear helmet. So we can use CCTV AI to do so. So it helps a lot. This is important. We need to provide options, especially sustainable options, because we have vision to make our transportation more sustainable and more environmentally friendly. So walk, bike, we need to promote them. And we can do so physically using bicycle lane, but we can also provide new services. Like you bike here in Taiwan, in Taipei, and we also start doing bicycle sharing, so they can have bicycle to run and to get to destination. Now, I think one of the elements that Taiwan is ahead is mobility as a service. So we can combine and integrate all these services so that people can travel more conveniently. And this is already under study in Thailand. Hopefully, we're going to have some cities in having good mobility as a service in the near future. And this is my last slide. We can provide many smart mobility options for the travelers. This is the case of smart city, one of the smart city in Thailand. This is Samyan Smart City, right in downtown Bangkok. What we do with the smart mobility then, we provide lots of options for the people to travel, especially for the first and the last miles. For instance, we have car sharing, EV car sharing. We have EV tricycle, tuk-tuk sharing. We have bicycle sharing, e-scooter sharing, and we provide EV bus and charger in this area. So I think this is the way to go, using ITS for human-oriented development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sawari Narupiti, for the wonderful sharing. Taiwan and Thailand has been working with each other in various industries, and it's of great delight to hear more from you in the field of transportation, and we also very appreciate your perspectives and insights on the ITS development. Once again, thank you very much. Moving on for the third keynote speech, we are honored to have Chairperson of ITS New Zealand, Mr. Mike Roach, to be our speaker. Mr. Roach has more than 35 years of experience in infrastructure management and development in New Zealand. He was an early adopter and innovator in infrastructure asset management and was Stantec's lead for ITS and analytics for Stantec Australia and New Zealand. And recently, he also worked with Waka Kotashi, New Zealand Transport Agency, to investigate options for revamping their regulatory strategy. And today we are very pleased to have him with us in person. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Mike Roach.
你好, kia ora katoa. Hello, everybody. Great talks from Deputy Commissioner Chen and Dr. Narapiti. But I'm going to take a slightly different approach. And I'm going to look at the balance between innovation, development, and regulation to make sure that we get the right uptake of some of our ITS solutions. Many ITS solutions are easily adopted by the majority of people. Some aren't. Some you need to nudge those people along to make sure that they will accept them. And there are always the people at the end, whether they are the people who are just reluctant to try something new, or that maybe have difficulty through a variety of things. So how do we manage to design our systems so that we can accelerate that uptake for those people? So my question is, what if we build the best ITS, smart city solutions, automated vehicle in the world, and no one comes? Or the most important people don't come, the people that will get the most benefit. So how can we avoid that happening? How many people here say they are ITS professionals? How many of those people, when they go to a party and someone says, what is ITS, have to have a long discussion explaining what ITS is? Because we have definitions like the one up here that we understand, but those other people, those humanoids out there that aren't ITS professionals, they don't think the same way we do. So we need to start to think about how we can make that work for those people. And different technologies and solutions are going to need different tactics and strategies to get that human and community acceptance. So my talk's really is about challenging us all to start to think about that. Because at the mayoral forum yesterday, there was a lot of talk about the transport disadvantaged and how we can uptake that. So how can we do that as we start to design our solutions? So I want to explore how we can get the general public to adopt and accept new systems and technologies, and how to target specific beneficiaries, people that will get there. And we've heard some great solutions from Mr. Chen. I love the bus hailing app for the visually impaired, and the fact that they can go and stand on a spot and the bus will stop right in front of it. That's fantastic. But then we have to make sure that the visually impaired actually know that exists and they will use it. So how will we do that? And how do we make sure the bus companies, if we have private bus companies, will actually install the right systems and operate it effectively? So one of the things about our ITS solutions, and this is just sort of simple economics, a lot of them are at that early stage in the product life cycle. And when it's at the early stage in the product life cycle, we have problems with different people adopting it. We have the innovators who are going to jump in early. We have the early adopters and the early majority that will come in. And then we have the late majority and the real laggards. And when we have private enterprise developing things, they are rightfully focused on those innovators and early adopters. That's where they can get their money and get going. They kind of don't care too much about the late majority and the laggards, and we need to find ways to encourage them. Some of that late majority in laggards are likely to include the people who will benefit most, the elderly. And one of the representatives yesterday spoke about how his mother couldn't use a smartphone. And I related to that immediately. I had an aunt who was 90 and she could use her smartphone. She went everywhere. Couldn't stop her. My mother couldn't use a smartphone to save herself. So no matter how good the app is, my mother couldn't go to the shop without lots of other help. She was physically able, but she just couldn't adopt those new technologies that were out there to help her. Then we have and she really fitted into that, the technology challenged. You know, we ended up giving up on her ever using an iPad. Then there's the economically challenged. So often, and this is a real problem in New Zealand, the economically challenged, the people who can't afford it, at the very end of public transport lines, at the parts of the public transport system and the transport network that is really hard for private enterprise to support. So we have lots of little micro-mobility solutions, but they're all in the central city where the young people can use them and what have you. But you try and get a scooter out in the suburbs, it doesn't exist. And then we have the disabled and the disadvantaged. So the question comes, how can we get over that? And that's where government needs to start to come in and think about what it needs to do. Now, one of the things that really impresses me about Taiwan is how much government is driving the adoption of some of these things. It's right at the front. That's not true everywhere in the world. A lot of places wait for private enterprise to do that first step, and then government needs to come in behind, but what do they need to do? So what are the issues when you've got an access problem? Is it available? Affordability problem, an ability problem, or even just a straight fear of the unknown? Or even maybe even knowledge that something actually exists, because we all come to these conferences and hear about these great solutions and things are happening in Taiwan, but do all the people in Taipei know about all the initiatives that are out there? I'm sure more do than what would in New Zealand. So one of the things that is really important is to make sure that there is independent acceptance and perception testing that is built into product and service development, so that we actually understand why people are reluctant to do things, how they feel when they get on an autonomous shuttle. And when I was lucky enough to be in Los Angeles last year at the global, what do they call it? I've forgotten what it called it, sorry. There was some great presentations of some trials in the US of where people were getting all their biometrics measured as they went on journeys through on automated vehicles, so that they could see when the stress levels would come up, and then they could build in ways to reduce that stress on future developments. Particularly, people were worried when the automated vehicles approached intersections, when they started up. So they could actually put videos of what the intersection was like and what the vehicle was seeing, so that people were more relaxed, because they said, oh yeah, the vehicle can see those other vehicles on the side streets, therefore I can relax because I know it will do something. So the people became more and more positive about using that technology. So one of the other things is that more and more the benefits that we are talking about through smart city and intelligent transport are not just transport benefits. And this is a real problem in New Zealand, because people just look at the funding for transport projects and they don't think of these wider benefits. So the health benefits from people using more active transport, or us reducing emissions. employment benefits if we can get people at remote parts of the network to be able to use public transport much more. The community benefits from having more inclusive and diverse engagement, and sustainability benefits from perhaps having less travel overall, particularly less single vehicle travel. So when you start to look at all those benefits, there is a clear role for government to make sure that they drive those benefits through in the adoption of some of the ITS. So how can they do that? They can really help with encouraging system, product and service design. Make sure that there are funds available so some of those private enterprise companies can really focus on that. Make sure there's multiple entry points to the system. Smartphone, phone, apps. I'm not an expert in some of these things, but how could we get my mother to be able to call up an AV shuttle when she couldn't use a phone anymore? Financial incentives for users and service providers. Contract requirements. So once you have a mobility service that's actually reasonably well adopted, you can actually tighten the contract requirements to make them take their service beyond where they make their first lot of money. And regulation. All of those things. Now, one size will not fit all, but we have to think about that whole picture to be able to make it work. Ngā mihi, thank you, Chesia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike Roach, for the wonderful sharing. And also thank you for highlighting again the very crucial perspective of familiarizing the ITS and other smart mobility solutions to human, the users, and the people. And also thank you for providing us with so many practical solutions. And once again, our deepest appreciation goes to all the speakers, Deputy Commissioner Chen, Mr. Sorari Narupiti, and Mr. Mike Roach. Thank you for sharing your valuable experiences on human-oriented ITS development. Our speakers will talk about how transportation technology applications can be integrated and adopted into citizens' lives and stay in line with the global trend. So after a very fruitful and inspiring morning, the last part of the session will be a panel discussion. The panel session will be hosted by Professor Xuekong Zhang from NTU and be joined by our 3 keynote speakers as well as local experts. They will be discussing key issues regarding human-oriented ITS development, including ITS development and safety, 5G plus AIoT ITS applications, and how traffic enforcement camera can strengthen traffic awareness. In this session, we are honored to have Professor Xuekong Jason Zhang to be our moderator. Professor Zhang currently serves as Director of Advanced Public Transportation Research Center at National Taiwan University. His research focuses on sustainable transport, innovative mobility solutions, and transport economies. Professor Zhang had served as advisor for the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, ITF, and Global Environment Facility, as well as an invited expert to provide sustainable mobility for many international cities and countries. And now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming our moderator, Professor Xuekong Jason Zhang, onto the stage. And moving on, I would also like to invite our panelists onto the stage. Let's welcome Deputy Commissioner Rongming Chen of Department of Transportation, Taipei City Government. Mr. Sorawik Narupiti, President of ITS Thailand. Mr. Mike Roach, Chairperson of ITS New Zealand. And last but not least, Ms. Jessica Ling, Vice President of THI Consultants Incorporation. With a round of applause, let's welcome all our panelists to join us on the stage. And once again, it's of true delight to have all the distinguished guests meeting with us face-to-face through a physical event. And now, without further ado, I will hand the floor to our moderator. Professor Zhang, the floor is yours.
Okay. It's my honor and privilege to be invited to help you to moderate this wonderful session. And we have, as you can see, we have 3 excellent keynote speakers who delivered different aspects of the so-called human-oriented ITS development. I really appreciate our Deputy Commissioner talk about the implementation in Taipei, and Professor Narpiti talk about a few examples from Bangkok, and last but not least, Mike, give us another vision regarding the regulation and also some key, I would say, element that to have all the general public to accept those innovation and ITS development. And I know Jessica also prepared some slides, and so I would like to invite Jessica to give a brief presentation based on your preparation. But before that, let me share with you my vision, and of course based on their presentation regarding the human-oriented ITS. As you know, almost 10 years ago, and Taiwan come out the objective of ITS development. It's like our national ITS policy. We set up 5 goals of ITS, which is smoothness, seamless, of course, safety, sharing, and sustainable. Okay, and now the Ministry of Transport and Communications. By the way, the original moderator is our Director General of Science Technology Advisor Office in the Ministry of Transport and Communications. But you need to go to our Congress to make a report. Now the ministry is preparing another 4-year ITS plan, and 3 simply wording to describe the direction of the ITS development. Go safe, go smart, and go green. Okay, and people also talk a lot about inclusive mobility. Okay, and also talk about the application of AIoT and digital technology to improve safety. Let me share you some figures, which I would say is a kind of inconvenient truth. And as Mr. Chen mentioned, the current status of Taipei, 60% of our daily trips are using public transport and green transport, 60%. But the whole Taiwan, only 15%, 15, are using public transport. Okay, the whole metropolitan area in Taipei, 7 million people. Every day we have 14 million trips, but only 32% using public transport and green mobility, the whole metropolitan area. So 6% is in the core area of Taipei metropolitan area. Okay. For the West Corridor, we have the world-class high-speed rail and our conventional rail. But every day, with that 3 3.2 million trip, only 18%, 1A, are using public transport. Okay? This is reality. Compared to Japan, from Tokyo to Nagoya, 345 kilometers, 75% are using public transport. Okay? Another number is that every year last year we have 3,085 fatality. Okay? 445 injury. So that contribute $15 billion social loss. It's about 3.172% our GDP. So with this, how to apply ITS to have, to solve the safety issue. And by the way, every year we have 20,000 being killed by air pollution. And 70% of pollutant coming from motorcycle and cars. Okay? So it's very good opportunity in this session, talking about human-oriented ITS. It's not just for the technology itself, as mentioned by Mike. It's really have people being aware, and also from the government side, not just for the technology itself. Okay. With this basic information, so I would like to invite Jessica to give us your vision, and as you know, Jessica is the vice chair of THI, which has been help lots of local and central government to implement the ITS technology, for not just in the city, but also in the rural area. And so let's welcome Jessica. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor Zhang. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Xinjia from THI Consultant. I think 3 speakers' excellent presentation. And knowing that every country and cities are taking lots of efforts on how to make a safer, greener, and efficient living environment for their people. Here, I just want to show some figures to express how important for Taiwan to build up a human-oriented living environment by ITS. From these figures, we know Taiwan have many motor vehicles. In year 2022, it's about every 2.75 persons owning one car, and about every 1.62 persons owning one motorcycle. We know more motor vehicles leads more congestion and accidents. And also from the figures of traffic accidents. In year 2022, the total numbers of deaths is over 3,000 persons. That means near 9 persons died per day just because of traffic accidents. Among them, the elders. Mr. Mai also talking about the elders. The elders accounts for 42%, and the youngers accounts for 10%. So it's time to change the thinking from vehicle-centered to human-centered. So aims to provide safe, efficient and convenient environment transportation for our people. Why we need smart roads and smart intersections? In Taiwan, it's over 60% of traffic accidents occurred in road intersections. So many cities in Taiwan, by integration, ICT, road sensors, traffic signal, and related information to predict the vehicle driving trail, and then transmit awareness to users through CMS on the roads. Mr. Chen also mentioned Taipei's intelligent traffic signal control system. On the other hand, according to the youngers, accounts for 10% of the total numbers of traffic deaths. So the government also building up the alert system on the roadside to transmit the warning to the motorcyclist passing by. The outcome of performance is reducing the traffic accidents by 30% to 50%. Behind the system also have the monitoring platform to have the real-time information to make the operation. The next ITS technology application case is about under the transport equity concepts. Just like Dr. Professor Chang's talking about inclusive mobility. In this case, first is from a sandbox trial, and then now it becomes a formal local carpool DRTS service. I think we need, under the transport equity consideration, we need to think about how to provide public service to remote area. We also want to make the transportation terminals smart. Some transport terminal in Taiwan using AI technology to detect the flow of people and vehicles, the bus flow, the taxi flow, so we can control the operation information. And all the modes also can have the feeder transfer in these smart terminals. Above some cases I mentioned is I choose to share for everyone. But in Taiwan, everywhere, every moment, you can feel the service by ITS. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much, Jessica. And you give us some example, particularly your group involved heavily. And just take DRTS, that application being studied and explored more than 10 years ago. And one of the reasons that haven't been really implemented at that time was the regulation, was the law, okay? And since I think when I was advisor for the World Bank and the ADB, we also look at the other country, particularly in the transition economics, and those so-called advanced technology and or application of advanced technology always have barriers in terms of institution and in terms of the regulation. So at that time, our minister Mao say, "Hey, DRTS is not in the category of passenger transportation. So we need to revise the law to accommodate this kind of services." But you know, it's not easy to create a new law. So that's become a barrier. And also the Uber, Taiwan, I would say, allow Uber illegally run for more than 5 years, and then give the biggest fine, more than 100 million, NT dollar, and then Uber leave Taiwan, but we spent almost 2 months to have our new law and to welcome Uber coming back. Okay, although the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Economic Affairs, had different opinion. So I would like invite Mike. You also been working in many countries, and also you've been the chair of the IEEE. So what's your vision? I just take Uber and also DRT as an example. What would you suggest? Based on these human-oriented and to reduce this kind of gap, and also having the government and the industry and the public, general public being aware that we should look at those gaps. Mike.
I'm not quite sure I'd call it a vision. It's more of a dream, because we have around the world some incredibly challenging transport problems, and where we have safety problems like the statistics you put up about death rates in Taiwan and New Zealand. Despite our best efforts and having a vision of reducing deaths and serious injuries to zero, they're going up. We are setting incredibly difficult emission reduction targets for transportation, but they're going up. And part of the reasons are the regulations, which are old, rule-based, and not very flexible. So I think there needs to be an overall overhaul of the regulatory systems that look much more at outcome-based things, because if we're targeting a 30% reduction in emissions, then, and that's that important, and your statistics on deaths through particulates are very similar to New Zealand. The numbers are proportional for our population, but it's the same. But the public doesn't know, so the public doesn't care. So the government won't put in the steps to achieve those things. So I think we need to probably all work together about how we can actually develop some outcome-based regulation frameworks that can be taken across the country, across the globe, and made work. I think the other thing is that, and I'll talk a little bit about this afternoon, Christchurch City has, as part of their smart city initiatives, has an app and a website where you can track how emissions are going in Christchurch from transport. You can track the crash rates, because you've got to try, and I don't know that will work, but it is an attempt to make it personal. And you need to be able to make it personal to be able to get the behaviour change. Because when I was involved in transport project development, the issue was in New Zealand, we called it the INBY syndrome, not in my backyard. They didn't, yes, they wanted the new road, but they didn't want it in their backyard. Now we seem to have a different version of that, which is, well, my little bit isn't going to make that much difference. So as long as someone else will change their behaviour, then that's okay. And we have a lot of people doing that, and so therefore we're not getting the behaviour change we need to be able to lift that 18% on the western route to 40%. You know, when you've got such a marvellous high-speed rail system, it's unbelievable, really, to me. What are we doing wrong to get that change? So it is about creating a regulatory environment that will get that behaviour change.
Thank you very much. And Professor Napriti, yeah, you give a few examples, you know, based on this human-oriented concept. But we've been talking a lot that in so-called developing and transition economic, for us, it's quite easy to have technology trial, you know, and it's a kind of spotlight, you know, for our people. And but talk about the real implementation to achieve the human-oriented goal. What are your vision, or what are your perception about the barriers that we really can achieve that goal?
Yeah, well, of course, I think that piloting or having kind of the first phase of have people feel it like the test or demonstration is important. But you know, after implementation, after demonstration, how can we get it to real implementation? Normally for a demonstration, we want to connect with the users, right? So let them feel, let them try it, let them get accepted for the technology or something that we put on. But I think the real issue would be some organization, regulation, and body who would run it in the future. We need to kind of, you know, educate them, lesson learned for them. The real barrier for implementation would be some people has to do it. And then, you know, we need another step, not only demonstrate our technologies, but, you know, sit down, talk to each other, you know, modify the regulations. And of course, we have a lot of problems, like Mike said, that NIMBY, you know, some people, oh, this is good technologies, but oh, it's not in my backyard. I don't want it. How can we turn from NIMBY to WIMBY? You know, welcome to my backyard, you know, something like that. So we need to create environment, business case that people have win-win situations. Not only saying that, you know, take the case of the safety, for example. Thailand has very big time problems with the road fatality. Every year we have around 20,000 people killed on the road. 20,000 is a big number. And 80% came from motorcyclists. So that's the big thing for us. Again, technology-wise, we can implement something, we can pilot something, demonstrate something, but to put in the real implementation, that's another step. Barrier, I think, well, a lot of people involved, and barriers are everywhere though, but I think that we need some mechanism to fix the barrier. That's very important. Regulation-wise, I think we need to change. Yes, who's going to change it? I know it's difficult, right? And acceptance-wise from the users is also very difficult. For example, if you want to put something onto motorcycle or onto the car, very little cost, but people still refuse. Why I have to pay for this or something? Even the government who needs to build up good infrastructure, maybe some connection, you know, communication, connected vehicles and infrastructure, they need to understand this is really important. So not only understanding, but they have to implement it. So yeah, lots of barriers. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Chen, you've been in the transportation department for many years, right? And when we talk about the big proportion of motorcycles in Taiwan, and I believe Taipei is one of the city that implement motorcycle parking fee, you know, and give you another number. 6 years ago, Taipei motorcycle only 4% motorcycle pay for the parking fee. No, they're all free parking. So I talk our mayor, the previous mayor, that it's unfair. Okay, they don't pay what they should pay for it, and finally, in his second term, Mayor Ke, start initiate the regulation on parking, particularly for the motorcycles, and another is to encourage electric motorcycle sharing program. Okay, so as you mentioned in your slide, that Taipei a very clear goal that try to have the green transport contribute 70%, by 2030. So, what would you share with us what the next regulation on motorcycles, and in the same time encouraging more sharing scheme for electric motorcycle program in Taipei? Thank you.
Thank you. In Taipei City, the traffic use in the road, motorcycle, all the most from the outside, not inside Taipei City. It's all the 1/2 to Taipei, from the New Taipei City and the Keelung or the Taoyuan City. So in Taipei, the motorcycle trips all occupy the rate is 25%. Yeah, and we have the parking means for the motorcycle old charge fee, but the exclusive the EV the motorcycle you can service not charge. And then for the grand transportation, we hope to the first mile and the last mile by the shared motor. So in the grand transportation model, we involve the shared motorcycle. So and the second, we have the motorcycle have the one. If you parking in Taipei City, 1 day and 1 charge. Okay, that's right.
Okay, thank you. I always talk about the motorcycle because it's become I would say essential mode for people commuting. Particularly in those cities outside Taipei. So how to apply our technology and to, I would say, to have a good manner and usage of motorcycle. I think sharing is one of the approach, and that also involves lots of technology applications. Okay, that's the one of the policy we should think about. The other one is the safety, and our Ministry of Transport and Communications initiate several motorcycle safety program, and the III together with our local consultant also come out some good program that make sure motorcycle are safe. Okay, and also, but as I mentioned several figures, every year we have 15 billion social loss due to the traffic accident, and safety is a human right. Okay, so Jessica, I know your group, involve lots of city in terms of the safety enhancement program, and how would you suggest, is it when you talk about human-oriented development, we should seriously look at the safety issue, and without further improve our safety, by applying various technology, I don't think we have the right to talk about human-oriented, because every day you have almost 9 people being killed of the traffic accident. Yeah, in this morning, a few hundred people, lie down there because of traffic accident. Yeah, Jessica.
Yes, I think the safety is the best important when we talk about how to use ITS technology. When we talk about the motorcycle, I think a motorcycle is a major commuting mode in Taiwan, especially for the young men. So I think the number about the traffic accidents, the younger, the age from 18 years old to 24 years old, it's just the age in study in college. So I think if we can let university, college to have the public transportation first, to educate and to give some practices in college, to let the students, college students, to use public transport, to be a habit, to use to it. After he graduated from the college, I think it's the best will follow the trend to use the public transport. I think the education from they are young and they are in the school, I think that is the best method, I think.
Wonderful. It's concerned about the behavior change. It's the challenging work, okay, and not easy. And another challenge we are facing is the so-called net zero 2050, and it's all concerned about not just in the transportation area, but also other sectors. But last November, I joined with the ITF in Europe. Lots of experts say without the decarbonization in transportation sector, the net zero 2050 will not be accomplished. So, because we see in the past 20 years, all other sectors, have a significant, reduction on the emission and energy saving, but only transportation sector keep increasing. Okay, so when we talk about public transport, we talk about the application, and we talk about safety. It's all related to transportation sector to achieve the decarbonization. So I would like to ask to gentlemen and also Mr. Chan, in this regard, what would you suggest? Okay, a simple sentence, net zero, okay, with the ITS applications. Okay. Mike. Then we have only 5 minutes left.
Yeah, very tough question. But I think one of the things that we have to realise that the transport system is a system within a system within a system within a system. And as we start to think about that, we have things like, and I'll use your $11 billion figure in terms of the health cost, the GDP cost of fatal accidents in Taiwan. Now, if we could eliminate all those deaths, then theoretically, there's $11 billion that we can go and spend on things. But that $11 billion would actually be spread across health systems and education systems and what have you. And what I see is that funding for all our solutions is not considered as part of a system within a system. As within a system, it's considered only as a transportation problem, and therefore we don't look at those system solutions and we don't fund them appropriately. So my solution is that we have to lift our thinking to that system, full system thinking, and be brave and say, if we're going to hit net zero, if we're going to save, hit the target reductions in crashes, we have to look at how we fund that and be prepared to spend the money.
Thank you, Fine. Yeah. Professor Narapriti?
Yes, just my short answers. Keep on doing good work. We're promoting good services like the sharing mobility, bike and walk. That's very important. And we reach out more measures that we can do. One idea in Bangkok, for example, we try to target not the speed on the road, but we target on the distance of travel by giving people information about residential locations. For example, if I work in this office in this area, perhaps I don't know much about the choice of residential locations that I can choose. So make good short distance transportation very good, well managed, and then try to relocate people. Maybe they can rent somewhere nearby their office. Those things can help a lot. Yeah, that's my short answers.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Mr. Chen?
So it's good. But I wanted the ITS for Taipei, just for the public transportation again. And to improve the motorcycle, we need the ITS can accept help and order to about violate parking motorcycle. So we have to need Taipei is can the violation to the AI system. Also, we have to know the ITS intelligence, the traffic signal, all can set the AV control system in Taipei and in the next 3 years. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Time is running out, and although I believe we have lots of can be discussed in terms of the human-oriented ITS development, and I think it's good timing for us to think about this, not just for Taiwan, but also for other countries, that how to really having the ITS, to help us to reach the ultimate goal of human-oriented development. And this afternoon we have other 2 sessions talking about the ITS development and also about the safety issue. So I would like to encourage all of you to join with us this afternoon. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful keynote speaker and the panel discussion here. Before conclude the session, could you join with me to give them a big applause, to thanking them to give us so wonderful information. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thanks again for your participation. This concludes this session. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Zhang, for moderating the session. And before we close the session, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite our moderator and our panelists to come forward to the center of the stage. Let's have a group photo together. It has been 3 years since we had a physical CTalk, so it's really of great delight to have so many experts and guests to join us today in person. And I'd like to ask all our guests to turn your badge to the front. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, let's stand closer. Are we ready? Let's look to the front. Ready, set, smile. Okay, for the second one, we have a go-to pose in Taiwan, which is to have one thumb up when we take pictures. So for the second photo, let's thumb up together. Perfect. Thank you very much once again for joining us. Our deepest appreciation goes to all the honorable guests and speakers for your wonderful sharing and presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our CTalk session this year. And once again, thank you very much for your participation. We look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you very much.